Alright guys, this is one of my Eurotrip videos, and if you guys did actually manage to click on this and listen to this right now, sit here and actually watch the fucking video, because I found this one actually very good, very interesting. I managed to go to Munich, Berlin, and Prague, and we're going to start this thing off with a concentration camp. The one I went to was in Munich. It was called Dachau, and this prison, or this concentration camp, was a religious camp. It was supposed to hold 6,000 prisoners. It ended up holding 36,000 prisoners. And this building right here is one of the buildings where they have the torture chambers, where it's like a big building where they just have rows and rows and rows of cells, very small 1 meter by like 2 meter cells. And this is where you would spend your first, like, if you were selected, you would spend your first 2 to 4 months of the camp life in here. You wouldn't see any light of day. You wouldn't go outside at all. You would sit here for 2 to 4 months and they would just, do their thing. But this is one of the bunkers that they would stay in, or the housing units the prisoners would stay in. This is where they would shit, do all that. They literally had rows and rows and rows of this place. I'm about to show you. Right here, they had 20 rows of this, and each side had another building where they would hold the prisoners. And this is where the common area would be, is where the prisoners would talk to each other. And you would have the courtyard right there where they would do their roll call every single day. This right here was the slaughterhouse. This is where the showers were. I'm going to bring you guys through this on this video right here. It's literally a building designed for stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 of where you would load into the room. Here's the room right here where you would walk into, take your clothes off, thinking that you're going into the shower, but really it's the gas chamber. They would stick, 150 to 250 people, as many as they could, let them sit in there, and they would gas them out. It was pretty cool. You learn about this stuff going through like school, but actually being in a concentration camp is completely different. They have nothing roped off too, so which is a big bonus. So you can just walk around. But this right here is the next room over, and after the gas chambers, they would have the furnaces where they would stick 2 to 3 bodies in at a time and just burn the bodies. Now, coal was a very valuable thing. If they didn't burn your body, they would throw your body into this room right here, where they would wait for the dump truck to come and pick you up, and then they would throw you in a pit. Absolutely brutal. It's very cool that you can just walk around and see all that stuff. While I was in Munich, I went and saw Bayern Munich play, which was very cool. I managed them to see when they were playing a second league shit team. The score ended up being 9-4. They got like a red card or something like that early in the game, and they managed to come back from a 2-goal deficit. But they ended up playing Dortmund, the other top team, 2 days later, and tickets for that were 700, starting at €700. So I managed to see them for €35, which was a great thing. It's a cool atmosphere, and it's a massive stadium to go check out. From Munich, I went to Prague. This was the train ride. There was like a bachelor party on top of it in the first class. So they all came up. We had drinks for about 5.5 hours. Had an absolute blast. I ended up in Prague for like 3-4 days. It was during Easter, the holidays, or like Easter weekend I was there for. And this is like the Times Square. They wouldn't have normally these things, but they had like a big festival going on, which was pretty cool to see. Very cool city to see. It's a cheaper part of Europe too. I really liked it. Not much like crazy history to it, but a great place to spend money because it's so goddamn cheap there. It's the cheaper side of Europe. Nice place. I would 100% go back there again. Then after Prague, I went to Berlin. Berlin was probably one of my favorite places. It's probably like one of my top four. Just like the history of the World War II's. So this is where one of the Nazi Party rallies were. They would stand up on the podium. All of the soldiers, they would stand on this grass area. And this is where they did one of their rallies. It's very cool to see. They have the Berlin Wall also that separates east from west when they had the Civil War. Now they only keep one. They tore the wall down, but they have 1 kilometer left. They left it up and they have it painted with artists and stuff like that. Pretty cool thing. One of the main things though is like the Brandenburg Gate. This is also one of the coolest things to see in Berlin. I found it cool because it's one of the places where Hitler marched his troops with the tanks. It's one of their big points where they walk through. It's a big iconic picture, so it's cool just to witness something like that. Right next to it, they do have the Jewish cemetery too, and the memorial site where they just have stone blocks. Cool thing. But like I said before, like this place is loaded with World War II history, World War One. You see bullet holes, chunks missing that you can see they tried to repair it everywhere in the city. Like buildings blown up, they just leave them there. But as you're walking around Berlin, you're gonna find these gold plaques on the ground, and that means that there used to be a house sitting right there where a Jewish guy lived, and it means that he was taken away from the Nazi and ended up dying. So they put these plaques there on the ground, and sometimes you would find like 1 to 6 sitting there, which meant there was a family there. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Cheers.